190 billion naira. That's the amount of unclaimed dividends that the Securities and Exchange Commission said we have in Nigeria. In the last couple of days, a number of friends have reached out to me, some family, and some of you online have reached out to ask, how can we claim our dividends? And that's why I'm making this video. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Temi Adenuga, and today we'll be discussing how to get your unclaimed dividends in Nigeria. We would first of all ask ourselves, why exactly are there unclaimed dividends? Shouldn't the due persons be paid their money already? Didn't they put in their account details at the time they were registering? We would also be talking about how you can claim, the ways that you can claim these unclaimed dividends, and specifically, most questions that I've gotten is around the deceased. So if you have someone who is unfortunately no more and you want to claim their dividends, how do you go about it? So we'll just quickly run through that. It's going to be a short one, hopefully not as long as my typical videos. And then, I'd expect your questions, comments, and any other thing you wish to share with me. Do not forget to like this video if you learn anything while watching. Also, do not forget to subscribe to this channel. So why are there unclaimed dividends? Maybe we should start with what a dividend is. So if you own part of a company and at the end of the year, the company makes profit. If you've watched my previous videos, you would probably understand that a business is different from its owners. So if the business makes money, all the profit that you make at the end of the year, if you are many, you will share that money. Exactly. So for public companies, those are very big companies that have thousands and thousands, sometimes even millions of owners. Somebody needs to share that money to them if they make money. If the business does not make money or the management decides not to give anybody money, then there is no money to be shared. So let's get into the meat of the matter. How do you claim your unclaimed dividends? How do you claim your unclaimed dividends? It's absolutely, very simple, especially if the owner is alive, right? If the owner of those shares, the person that bought those shares is alive, it is extremely easy to claim. There is a link to the portal, which is now is public. Everybody almost has that link. I'll probably link it here or put it in the description. That link just shows you the number, the stock, the name of the company, the name of the person, and the registrars. Now, when you search, you would find, and of course, there are many people that have multiple names. So if you see names there and you are sure that, your family member purchased the stock or you purchased the stock, that's fine. Take note of all those information on those pages. There are 3 methods via which you can claim those dividends. Unfortunately, it is not exactly, it is not made public, and it's not unfortunate if you ask me, but people have been saying they should have known, they would like to know, but you can know. It's just not something that is made public. People don't know how much money is there, and to even check if it is worth it at all to pursue or not. And these are the reasons why these amounts have accumulated over the years. But there are 3 methods via which you can claim these dividends, and of course, everything starts by checking. So when you check and you find your name there, then you will take the next step. So the first way to get these monies back is to fill an e-dividend form, to submit an e-dividend form. How exactly do you submit an e-dividend form, right? First of all, let's ask ourselves, I had mentioned registrars in the past, right? So who are these registrars? Registrars are like record keepers of people that have shares in companies and how much is due to them. So basically, registrars are like I'm trying to see how best to explain them so it's not very difficult. So what registrars do is this. if you buy a share in GT Bank today, GT Bank already has a registrar who would take that information and record that Mr. X bought GT Bank shares today. So the number of shares, who you bought it from, the name of the person you bought it from, and all the people that have shares in GT Bank today would be kept by a given registrar. So when GT Bank wants to pay dividends, right, GT Bank will just say, okay, we have announced dividend of 20 kobo per share for 2024, for example. And then they will tell their registrars. Their registrars will now say, okay, you have 100 million shareholders. These 100 million shareholders are like Mr. A owns 10 stocks, Mr. B owns 15 stocks, Mr. C owns 2.5 stocks, Mr. D owns, and like that, they will now share the money across board and send it across. So, in the past, we used to have the registrars do that work of, who owns what does who own, who is where, what are the addresses, and, they update the system. But they are not the one that, keep the money. They are not custodian of the funds or anything. They are just like record keepers of the people that own shares in companies. So every stock that is listed on a stock exchange typically has a registrar that is monitoring those transactions. Now, that said, for every company you have stock in, so if you have seen that you have maybe 5 different stocks and the different numbers there, you will go and download the form of that particular registrar. So I'm going to create an Excel sheet that just shows you the list of registrars, their forms, so that I can just download it directly from there, and their email addresses. So there are some of these registrars that have online platforms where you can just go and fill the form there. For example, I think African Prudentials have a portal where you can just go to, and then when you go to the portal, you fill in the form. It's like the physical form, but it's just online, and they'll process it for you. So I'll try and put all of those in one document and link it in the description below. So yeah, as soon as you've got that done, fill out the form, submit it to a registrar or to your bank. So some people find it easier to do to their banks because you may have like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 forms. If you have a lot of stocks that you want to claim, let's say you have just 3 forms now, it means you have to submit to 3 different registrars, and you do that there. Alternatively, you can submit to your bank. So what's the process? Find out, fill the form. Once you fill the form, send it to your bank or send it to your registrar. That's it. It's that simple. And on the form, what are the information they would require is pretty standard. They would request for your BVN, your bank account details. They will request for a passport photograph. They're going to request for the details of the stock. And of course, you've seen that on the SEC portal, that SEC website where you saw the list of the stock exactly. So you put the list of those stocks there. Some they have already written in there, so you just have to tick. Once you do that, you've completed the form. You put in all the details they require, name, address, and all that, and then you submit. Then there are some information that you may not have. So there's for example, I think some of the forms have clearinghouse number. Clearinghouse number they call it CHN. Is like your unique identifier. So every investor has a CHN. So CHN is clearinghouse number. It's just that number that is uniquely identified with every single investor. So I have a CHN. If you invest in Nigerian stocks, you also have a CHN. Wherever you invest, you have a particular CHN within Nigeria. You can have a CHN in Nigeria and have another CHN in the US, but within a particular country, you have just one CHN. So they would ask you for the CHN. Now, if you don't know your CHN, you can do a quick search in your email. You should find some information there. Do a quick search in your email. If you did not find it, look for a share certificate. If you then did not find it, you can go to the CSCS portal. They are called the Securities and Clearing Central Securities Clearing System, CSCS. They are the ones that that register investors, and do the clearing between investors. So they have this data, but it may be a little difficult to find. So it takes us to the next method. So if you don't have all this information, or you are just the kind of person that doesn't want to go through any stress just because you're looking for that kind of detail, you have an alternative, right? So instead of just doing instead of going through the route of filling the different forms, if you have more than one registrar, sending it to your bank and all of that, you can register with a stockbroker. So they will say, some people say, they already have stockbrokers now. If you already have a stockbroker, go to your stockbroker, tell them to do a global search, and they will sort it out for you. But even if you are registered with any stockbroker and you don't know, or you can't remember, find a new stockbroker. I used to work with a stockbroking firm before, Mountain Investments and Securities Limited. They're here in Lagos. They can help you. But MISL, you people will pay me for this free advert. But yes, there are a lot of stockbrokers are around. Just Google a stockbroker around you, register with them. They would ask you to register with them, and then they will help you do what we call a global search. So in that global search, they would find your CHN number, the stock, everything. They would help you also claim the dividends back, But of course, they will charge a small fee. And if the money, you can do that if you're interested. So yeah, that's the second method. So the first method is search. Once you find the details, get the different forms. I'll put the link below in the description. You get the different forms that you require, complete those forms and submit it to the emails of the different companies, or physically send the letters to their offices. Once that is done, you just wait, and then you get the money. Once they can verify the details, they can verify you, they'll pay you your money. Now, the third method, which has been a little very dicey, is not really been working that well, is the NIBSS portal that SEC introduced in, I think that was November last year. They set up that portal where you can do self-service, log in and find this information yourself, but it's been a little wavy. So that's, you just follow the prompts, put in your BVN, put in your account details, submit the details. Once it identifies you, it will log you in, and then you can search for the stocks, and then you can follow the whole process. It will tell you what form to fill, and then you are fine. So finally, let's talk about if you want to collect on behalf of somebody else. So, you have a dad, your mom, aged, and you want to help them. The process is pretty similar to the other ones that we've mentioned. The only thing that is needed here is they would need to prove that you have a relationship with that person, right? That's the biggest hurdle to cross there. And if the person is alive, it makes it easier. It just means that when you're filling the forms, you put the person's name, you put the person's address. If it's your dad, you put your dad's address, you put your dad's name, your dad's everything, and of course you can even get some more information from him since it's there. But if for example, you're claiming for your uncle who is deceased, or mother, or uncle or father, or whatever that is deceased, they're no more, they would need to prove that there is a link. Now, you don't just explain to say, I'm their next of kin. It doesn't exactly work that way. You need to provide things like death certificates. You need to provide sometimes letter of administration. So different registrars have different things that they require. So for those that have like a lot of things to claim, if you're claiming for somebody that is deceased, I typically advise that you use a stockbroker. It's just easy, right? I don't like stress, so I try not to stress myself, especially when you can spend that time doing something else and you're not even sure how much the money is. So the best thing for you to do is to just use a stockbroker. Call up a stockbroker today. Find a stockbroker online. If you need recommendations, you can message me. I'll get you some. Find them. They would do a global search for you, get you the exact details that you need, and then they will help you claim the dividends. And then afterwards, you can register for e-dividends so that you can always collect your the money subsequently. And I think it's 150 naira for that. It used to be free until February 2018, but now it's like 150 naira. So that's primarily it. I hope I have explained this in as simple terms as possible and you understand. That said, if you've learned from this video, please share it with other people. Like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you on the other side. Remember, whether it's investing, finance, money, or whatever, baby steps and short breaths, everything is progress. See you on the other side. Thanks.